jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. A-Side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS is the first in the MF building. Big salute to everyone that's on deck. If you're on your way and you haven't subscribed, if you want it as an option, feel free to do so. If you're supporting the channel for the first time, welcome aboard. You know what I'm saying? Welcome aboard. I'm not going to go down the whole, greetings and salutations and all that, but let's get down to it. We have multiple topics, and I'm going to speak on a topic that's really not in my wheelhouse like that. It's not in my genre of topics, but I got to speak on it because it's stirring up a lot of controversy and turbulence out here in these streets. We will get back to that just a little bit later, okay? Just a little bit later. You know who it is. Kendrick Lamar is in the building. Yes, indeed, sir. He will be hosting the Super Bowl show. Come on. Come on, man. Off of this track, this man has elevated himself to the constellation. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he wasn't already hot. People know. The real ones know who Kendrick Lamar is. But god damn. They said we need him to host the Super Bowl in somebody else's backyard, and we're not even going to ask them. We're going to ask him. You know what I'm saying? Bars. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to ask him. We're going to ask them. No. We're going to ask him, but we ain't going to ask them, because it's a lot of them that's feeling some type of way about him getting that opportunity. And it is what it is, man. If you ain't had no hit out in a long time, stop complaining. Stop complaining, man. You already know what it is, man. You got to have something that's out there that's popping, that's basically, got these people bobbing their head. You know what I'm saying? Got these damn listeners all warm, feeling the beat, dancing, grooving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, bro. You already know what it is. Let's get down to the task at hand. This is fight week, y'all. Am I right? Am I wrong? Last time I checked, it was fight week. But let me first go to my guy, the one and only, one of the GOATs himself, Demetrius Johnson. Shout out to Demetrius Johnson. 25 victories, opposite of 4 defeats and 1 draw, y'all. One of the GOATs of combat sports. Mighty Mouse, one of the GOATs. I followed this man from his WEC days all the way to the UFC to the motherfucking one championship, yo. One of the most talented freaking strikers who is now attending BJJ tournaments. At age 38, Demetrius Johnson has selected to retire on top of his game. You know what I'm saying? Coming off a devastating a win that was heard all around the world if you didn't see him fight Adriano Moraes. Unfreaking believable a match. Let's go back to it. For a long time, Demetrius Johnson, right? He was, he was in the UFC, a transfer over from the WEC. He came into the UFC when the divisions was still in the planning process, okay? So him being a smaller guy, he competed at 135. At that point in time, you had the kahuna, DC Dominique Cruz, who was a WEC champion transferring over to the UFC. And that was his competition right from the rip, y'all. That's when they didn't even have a flyweight division at the time. The lowest division was 135 pounds, which is still to this day considered bantamweight. If you look at the bantamweight division in boxing, it's 118 pounds. In mixed martial arts, a bantamweight division is considered to be 135 pounds, which in boxing would be the lightweight division. Just thought I'd bring you down, that little road for educational purposes only. Anyway, he gets to the UFC from the WEC because that's when they had the whole big transfer and WEC was going away. He had to fight one of the best bantamweights ever in mixed martial arts, Dominique Cruz, who also was starting off his career in the UFC as a champion in the WEC and transferring over to the UFC. Okay? He's a story in itself. But he came over here. He transferred out of WEC with just one loss to Brad Pickett, very tough competitor back in the day. And his first opponent, for those of you that remember, was the hard-hitting Mexican. I'm talking about the wild boy himself, Miguel Torres, who was also in the WEC. He beats him via unanimous decision, and he goes in there and fights Dominique Cruz and loses a unanimous decision. One thing you'll know about Demetrius Johnson, first off, right away, is that he's short and he was always light, but he had speed. He had speed. Very crafty striker, very fast, and, respected for his wrestling. Very respected for his wrestling. And he would take that loss to Dominique Cruz, continue to fight. A rising Ian McCall. This is back in 2012, y'all. Those of you that was following the sport back then. He would beat Ian McCall, go in there with Joseph Benavidez, another riser back then, who a lot of people thought was going to be a UFC world champion. I like Joseph Benavidez. Salute to him. He just could never get it done. Just like, one of his stablemates in Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber was a WEC. He rocked the WEC, but when it came down to the UFC, no, not so much. Then he went on to fight John Dobson. You remember John Dobson? You remember that he, was an Ultimate Fighter, alumni, and he ended up winning and shocking the world in the finale when he went in there against TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw had all the hype behind him. He was coming out of Team Alpha Male over on the West Coast, man. He was supposed to get it done, and John Dobson went in there and showed that he was short, compact, and he had power. So he beat John Dobson. He would go on to fight John Moraga, fight Joseph Benavidez again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is when Demetrius Johnson was on the ride. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what fight exactly. I know it was one of these with Moraga that they they included, they inserted the flyweight division. Um, Lost to Dominique Cruz. I think it might have been Ian McCall though. Yeah, yeah. Ian McCall. Now the flyweight division is inserted into the rankings, into the divisions, because from my understanding, um, the males have 8 divisions. You know what I'm saying? They have the flyweight division, bantamweight division, featherweight division, lightweight division, welterweight division, middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. So he goes in there, beat Ian McCall, and finally him and Joseph Benavidez gets a shot at one another. Two rising stars, touted to be champions. They get a shot for the first time, and that's when he beat him for the vacant flyweight championship. All right. From then on, Demetrius Johnson would go on to defend that championship, and this would begin his legacy up the ladder of being um, placed in the same category and company of an Anderson Silva who would defend his title 10 times. You know how we talk about Deontay Wilder defending his WBC title 10 times, 10 successful times. Well, Demetrius Johnson, at that point in time, no one really knew when he was climbing the ladder how good he was truly going to be. Because, like I said before, he wasn't undefeated coming over to the UFC. And then I think only in his second fight in the UFC, he lost to Dominique Cruz. So he had to get started. And that's when they opened up the flyweight division, and he pretty much didn't lose. He pretty much didn't lose. Hold on for a second, y'all. So he pretty much you know, was one of the first fighters along with Joseph Benavidez compete for that flyweight vacant championship. And then that would start, his rise and ascension in the sport as far as packing on these. So he would defend his title once he beat Joseph Benavidez for the vacant against John Dobson, who's the winner of the Ultimate Fighter. John Moraga, Joseph Benavidez in a rematch. Ali, Buktanayev, um, Chris Carriazo, Yoji Haraguchi, John Dobson again. And you're probably saying to yourself, okay, that's already 2 fighters that you've mentioned that he's rematched. Reason being, you got to understand, it's not a lot of mixed martial artists. You're talking about back in, you know, 2014, 2012, 14 coming up the ranks, UFC getting started. They're building their division. And you didn't have a lot of fighters who weighed that less. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the flyweight division. I mean, that's 125 pounds. Imagine being a grown man, 125 pounds. So, Yoichi Horiguchi defeated him, John Dawson, and then he went into the only American to win a gold medal at the time in the Olympics was Henry Cejudo. Um, I wouldn't say only American. I think he was the only Mexican. I think Mexican American. My understanding won a gold medal in Olympic wrestling. Um, that was back in 2016. He finished him with knees and punches. Then he go up to crazy man Tim Elliott. Like he got some hitters on his resume. And then he defeats Rice. He goes in there with Ray Borg, defeats him via armbar. Now we're talking about 2018. At this point in time, Demetrius Johnson has defended his title multiple times, 11 freaking times, since picking up the title, winning the vacant title fighting Joseph Benavidez. So he goes in there with Henry Cejudo, and the first time he beat Henry Cejudo was 2016, and he steps back in there. I say 2 years and 1 month later, I think, almost like a little under 2 years. Okay, and he lost a split decision. At that point in time, I spoke about this um several lives ago, how the UFC and One Championship did the first and only trade. It was almost like they came up with this thing where they was gonna trade fighters. They was gonna do a swap. So you had Ben Askren coming over there as a champion, undefeated, from One Championship. And shout out to One Championship, incredible organization. And then you had Demetrius Johnson leaving after losing his title to Henry Cejudo. He left and went over to One Championship. And the wild part about it, he began to compete at 135 pounds over at One Championship in Japan. So when Henry Cejudo beat him in the rematch, they did a trade, and Demetrius Johnson was swapped out to go to One Championship, and Ben Askren came into the UFC. So once Demetrius Johnson makes his debut at One Championship, he does it by sub in round two, Wakamatsu, and then he goes up there and beat Wada, and then Kingit. That's his third win in One Championship, and I think, yeah, he fought for the vacant championship and won in his third fight over there. Now this is already a legend that's over here, but it just goes to show you they put him in there with some tough competition once he changed over to One Championship. So he wins his championship, and in his first defense, he's going in there with one of the hitters, you know what I'm saying, is challenging for his title, Adriano Moraes. And not to be confused with Marlon Moraes over the UFC, but he goes in there with Adriano Moraes, and he stops Demetrius in round two via a beautiful knee, a beautiful knee. And this will begin a rivalry between these two. They would end up fighting 3 times. Adrian Moraes, this is what I like about mixed martial arts. I love it. They allowed Demetrius Johnson to get back in the seat and allow him to compete for his title. Because he won his title fair and square, you know. He fought for it. Adrian Moraes beat him fair and square, right? Then he goes in here. Demetrius Johnson has a special rules match with the legend himself, Raw Tongue. This dude is absolutely a legend in Muay Thai. And he had one match with him before his match with Adrian Moraes. He goes in there and he defeats Moraes with the same finisher as Moraes defeated him, a flying knee. I mean, it was just so technically beautiful. I mean, unbelievable, methodical. And he closed him out in round 4. Yes, Moraes beat Demetrius Johnson in round 2, but Demetrius came back and stopped him in round 4. So the next year in 23, they would fight a trilogy. You know what I'm saying? May of 2023, they would fight a trilogy. And this was for all the marbles. Once again, Demetrius Johnson was defending his title against the very same guy, the first guy to beat him in his first defense, Adriano Moraes. And Demetrius Johnson won a unanimous decision. Recently, he just announced that he was retiring. And the great part about this was that he may have not left the UFC on top, being that Henry Cejudo defeated him, which is it's nothing to scoff at when it comes down to Henry Cejudo, because Henry Cejudo will later go on to be a 2-division champion. But anyway, he left the UFC to go over here to One Championship and became a champion and defending his title Not only that, but announcing his retirement, he became the first one championship mixed martial artist to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Incredible career by one of my favorite fighters in Demetrius Johnson, a 125-pounder for so long, defending his title as many rounds as he did. And, he's in the conversation with the John Joneses. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he had losses, but, when I'm talking about as being one of the GOATs. He's definitely one of the GOATs. And him announcing his retirement on top at 38 years old is smart. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very smart. The man is 38 years of age, 5'3", y'all. 5'3". And now he selects to compete. He's been competing in the BJJ tournaments. And he's very skilled in that area too. To be one thing about him, he has a wrestling pedigree. So, him transferring over with all the mixed martial arts experience that he has, it's going to be definitely somebody to look out for. So, I will end it with this big salute to you, Demetrius Johnson. It was a pleasure seeing you compete in the octagon. One of the most all around practitioners in the sport that has competed in the sport. And take a look at his video that he just did with an up and comer that's 28 years of age. He's not a mixed martial artist per se, but Mike Musamichi, he did an interview with him. He's one of those guys that's been tearing up the BJJ scene, and I thought him and Demetrius Johnson interview was pretty interesting. But salute to Demetrius Johnson. That's all I have to say about that. You know, best wishes in your retirement, there, champ. Best wishes in your freaking retirement. One of the most lethal strikers, 5'3", 125 pounds of whoop ass that ever competed in the freaking sport of mixed martial arts. Absolute pleasure. Now, for those of you that's been transitioning up out of, you know, um, the mixed martial arts scene, and shout out to everyone that's on deck. Um, this is Fight Week, right? We have some names that's on deck, that everybody is familiar with. People getting up, they getting hyped up a little bit for this card. I don't know how hyped they're getting, but they're getting hype enough to go into their account and see if they have enough money to pay for this pay-per-view. Now it's up to you, but this is going to be for unification. It's going to be for the WBA, WBC, and WBO, and for the lineal title. Okay. Um, what we do know, the main event would be Canelo, the Saul Canelo Alvarez. People love him, people hate him, but he's making the money in boxing, and he's the last of his kind. Okay, remember I told you that Canelo Alvarez is the last of his kind when it comes to one particular fighter getting all this money for these fights. Boxing is in a transitional phase where those fighters who's making all the money and getting all the freaking um, flowers and the monetary gifts, you know what I'm saying, and frankincense and all this shit, it's on its way out, yo. So one thing we can appreciate for Canelo, not just he's 34 years of age and he has 65 professional fights. It's the fact that he's one of the last breeds from this era that's going to be phased out. And there's not going to be another Canelo Alvarez that's going to be in his position where he can just negotiate, where he can just be the front runner, where promotions is just piling in all this money. The sport economically has changed. He'll be in there with Puerto Rican star Edgar Berlanga. Okay, Edgar Berlanga has a tall but short task ahead of him. The height comes to the pinnacle that his career could reach if he's indeed able to go in there and beat Canelo. When it comes to the short, he has to deal with a fighter who's been on this stage before. You know what I'm saying? Canelo has been around a time or two or three or four. He's been in there with some of the big names that people will say that's much more tougher than Edgar Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? Edgar is 22 victories in, 0 defeats. And of course, there's a huge gap when it comes to professional experience. There's a huge space, a huge void when it comes to what? Championship experience. There's a huge space. I'm talking about it seems like it's infinity when it comes to you looking at Edgar Berlanga's chances and opportunity to go in there and just run through Canelo Alvarez. It's just too much space to you. A telescope wouldn't even do it any justice. I mean, a space, odyssey wouldn't do it any. No, no. Even ayahuasca to try to convince you that you can do it, it's not enough. It's not enough. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm just saying, for Edgar Berlanga, he is a fighter that a lot of people are getting behind. He's very popular, when it comes to the culture. He's very popular. I've seen him bring the fans to the arena. I've seen it. He has a huge fan base. The man has faced adversity and was still able to pull out the victory. It's not like he's just been up here dancing around and he ain't faced no adversity. He faced adversity. He sure did. He's faced adversity. But this weekend, he's in there with a master boxer. There's nobody on freaking Canelo's resume that is going to be able to prepare Edgar Berlanga because he already know how Canelo fights. That's enough in itself. You already know it's enough footage out there. 65 pro fights is enough footage. If you want to go off his last several wins, when it comes down to him, coming off the Gennady victory, and everybody else after that, to the John Ryders, the Jaime Maguias, all those fighters who names, mean something. Jermell Charlos. You know what I'm saying? He had some names on his resume recently that people didn't consider to be just dominant wins because he didn't knock them out, but he still got the job done. It wasn't like it was extra close or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Even with the Gennady Golovkin trilogy, a lot of us ask, why did he even do it? But for the John Ryder, Charlo, Munguia, we saying to ourselves, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You came off a loss and you've been able to maintain, a winning streak of 4, I guess, solid, credible opponents, and you was able to win a unanimous decision. Now, for you, Edgar, I'm going to be honest, I don't think you're going to meet the same fate. When I say fate, there's 12 rounds because it's a championship fight. But I would assume, real talk, I don't believe that you're going to be able to make it, or you will make it to the final bell. I'm not saying you won't put up a great fight, okay? This might be one of your high-rise moments, or it can be one of those moments like Crawford did Spence. The expectations was extremely high, but the results didn't add up to those expectations. And there was a lot of boxing fans, still to this day, feeling that, hey, I hope we never have to witness this again. Well, guess what? You, Edgar Berlanga, you have to go in there with the charge of defeating Canelo Alvarez. being smart, and proving to him that your boxing IQ is on his level. Because they say, a fighter is the testament of a fighter is how he performs in challenging controversy, not doing confident convenience. And this fight this weekend would definitely put you in challenging controversy, that Belanga. It absolutely is. And not only do you have to try to fight to see the final bell, not only do you have to fight to prove to a fighter that's absolutely greater than yourself, but you have to convince the people that you can shock the world. And the only way you're going to shock the world, it's not like Canelo haven't lost, but you don't have a name that anyone's really looking at on your resume to basically have them confident that you're going to come up here with one of those victories we didn't see coming. I'm not convinced, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you understand that this is definitely going to be your toughest fight of your career, and understanding that Hammy Magia had an O on his record too, and he had way more professional fights than you did, and he walked up out of there with his first L. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Plant had an O on his record before he stepped in there with Canelo Alvarez, and he too left with a 1 to the right side of his ledger, and so did Billy Joe Sanders, their Eggbala, and so did Callum Smith, their Belanga, and so did Gennady Golovkin when they fought in the rematch, their Belanga, and so did Liam Smith. You know what I'm saying? And so did Floyd Mayweather Jr., but he wasn't able to erase that O. He tried valiantly doing that clinic, but he wasn't able to erase it. So you got to ask yourself, with all the history, even to include the Austin Trouts, all these names that Canelo have on his boxing ledger, a part of his body of work, is it something within your body, your mind, your spirit that we have never seen, that we never could fathom, that you can present to us inside those four corners to beat Canelo Alvarez? I don't think so. I think it's going to be appointment ready for the first 4 or 5 rounds. You're going to meet the appointment. It's going to be some exchanges. It's going to be some oohs and ahs. And then Canelo is going to say, it's time. It's time. And, Canelo has earned at least one knockdown with a Hammy Magia, a Jamel Charlo, a John Ryder. You know what I'm saying? Yes, just to let you know, his last 3 opponents, they have been to the canvas there, Edgar. And you have faced that canvas before in your career. So I wish you nothing but the best. Real talk. I wish you nothing but the best this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going for either one. I'll take that back. I'm going for, Canelo. I'm going for Canelo. Because I believe, Canelo at this point, based off everything that he's accomplished in his career, I don't find that I can bring myself to say that Edgar Berlanga has the offensive strategy that you have at the fight camp, where you put together this master plan to go in here and shock the boxing community. I just don't see it, Edgar. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I just don't see it going down, okay? All right. Shout out to the chat, man. Toby Bartley, Mr. International, in the building. Christopher White in the building. Salute to you. Mike in the building. Juice Lee on deck. What's good with it, Juice? The historian on deck. Salute to you. The powers that be saw those pop out. Amazon Concert Analytics, and it was a wrap. Talk to him, Juice. Let him know. Hey, they was all about them analytics, wasn't? They say, God damn, he tearing Drake up, man. This is playing everywhere. Mr. International said, salute WCS in the hottest chat in the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. Always better to be global than just local, homie. You already know. Shout out to Blue Hustle in the building. What up with it, man? Salute to you, brother. Shout out to the Go IOTBA Boxing Talk on deck in the building. Texas on deck. Shout out to my guy Haynes Legacy in the building. Salute to you, Haynes. Blue said Demetrius was one of my favorite UFC fighters. He was a beast. When he lost his belt, I thought he actually won that fight. Yeah, it was a close fight. That's why, when it comes down to the split decision and him being in a rematch, for a good minute, Dana White felt that Demetrius, and it's true, he really wasn't doing anything above and beyond to support. Anything above and beyond to bring exposure to the flyweight division. He wasn't promoting himself like Dana wanted him. Like, you put anybody else in his position in another weight class, and they would have been an incredible star. Like, say for instance, Conor McGregor. If Conor McGregor would have went on 11 title defenses, and with the personality that he had, and just say Conor, because Conor at one point in time he was fighting at 145 now. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a freaking skeleton with skin. He looked like an Ireland skeleton. If he had that personality down there at 125, they wouldn't have tried so hard to make that trade to get Demetrius Johnson out of there. Demetrius, he was just a cool cat. He didn't do too much of anything to promote, his status. So Dana was like, I'm trying to close this motherfucker down. So he gave Henry Cejudo another shot. Henry got it done. And off went Demetrius over to Japan. And he still was on top. But good point, man. Good point. I've always wanted to get into watching MMA, but I don't know much about it. I would encourage, it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I just always look at it like multiple striking disciplines is way better, especially when it comes to learning what you're looking at. And you'll get it from mixed martial arts. It's just so much that can happen. Like in boxing, you can't do a spinning elbow. You can't, obviously because they hit with their hands. You can't even do a spinning back fist with your gloves on. You can't do any of that. And plus you have a different range of your target precedence. In boxing, you have the waistband to the head. In MMA, it's from head to toes. You know what I'm saying? Also, it deals with submission. But yeah, it takes a little bit of patience, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Dog Willie in the building. Bill Haney said that if he would have stuck with MMA, would have been better than. Stop it. Hey, it ain't nothing like humor, man. You gotta put some humor in here. You know what I'm saying? 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. You gotta put some humor in here, man. Real talk. You gotta get some humor. Real talk. That Willie. For real. Haynes said, I need to understand the rules and what a fighter should do to have success. Boxing, traps, feints, footwork. I grew up in the martial arts, but MMA is so different. Well, right now, martial arts, MMA is an art, martial art, you know what I'm saying? A multifaceted discipline, yeah. And you can do just about anything. Spinning techniques, striking from the front, back, submission, wrestling, you can pretty much, it's everything encompassing. And it's, I can sit up here and tell you certain things, but yes, it consists of a lot of what boxing has. Of course you faint. The boxing training is different over there at MMA considerable to boxing. Of course it's different. You know what I'm saying? Of course. Arnold Brown in the building. The OG Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and more on deck in the building, man. What's good with you? So let's get to the Kendrick Lamar controversy. You know what I'm saying? As you already heard, Kendrick Lamar, received the news that he will be hosting the Super Bowl, the next Super Bowl. That'll be in Louisiana, right? New Orleans. And look, let me just put it up there with all these individuals that have something to say as if this just came out of the blue. Um, there's been several other Super Bowls that's been in New Orleans. Okay? Now, I should be the one that's complaining because I would love for Super Bowls to come down here and people bring all this talk about, hey man, Kendrick Lamar's gonna be the Super down here in A. Okay, see, I would get my ticket because Lord knows I don't go over there. I don't even. Somebody say something about the Dirty Birds. I said what? You talking about them pigeons? No, the Dirty Birds, man. They going to the Super. No, stop playing, man. Stop playing. No, the Super Bowl is gonna be here, but the Dirty Birds ain't in it. Oh, for real? Yeah, man. Stop playing. Come on now. We still haven't quite got over that 20-point deficit that was just squandered, given away, donated. But anyway, rap superstar, hip hop superstar, Kendrick Lamar is set to be the headliner, the halftime headliner. You know what I'm saying? In the Super Bowl. As you're looking at New Orleans, they give you the dates. Come on, man. Look at all those dates. And now he's going to, in the new era, he's going to be the one that perform in 2025. The last Super Bowl that they had over there in New Orleans was 2013, man. But with that said, there's been a lot going on X. You know who's feeling some type of way. Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Wayne is feeling some type of way because they didn't select him. And I'm going to get to him. But you got the Boosies, the Master P's. Now, come on, man. I don't know why my people just want to talk and argue about this shit. Man, who's looking for Master P? Do you know that there? No what? He ain't had a hit in the years of that. Oh, yeah, he ain't had no. He ain't had no hit. What about Birdman? He haven't had a hit. Kendrick Lamar's hot. You know what I'm saying? Look, just to remind you, because, not like us, just like Juicy put out there, the analytics told a story of his own. The analytics was like crazy. Psst, I see dead people. Mustard on the beat, ho. He said, mustard on the beat, ho. Debo any rap nigga, he a free throw. Man down. Call an ambulance. Tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross. He walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can't hate me. Fuck them all. And they mama. Come on. And Kendrick? Come on, man. You said fuck them all and they mama? God damn. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body. I'm John Stockton? Jesus Christ, man. Beat your ass and hide the Bible with God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman. I'm the one that up the score with him. Walk him down. Whole time I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him. Extort shit. Bully. Death row on him. Come on, stop it, Kendrick. Stop the MF and madness, man. Stop it with the bars. Wop, 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 wop. Fuck them up. Wop, 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 wop. I'm going to do my stuff. Come on, man. Somebody stop this, man. Call the fire department. They're going to go crazy over there in New Orleans. They're not going to be thinking about Wayne. Now, let me tell you why Wayne probably didn't get picked. For one, he haven't had a hit in a long time. For one, Allegedly, it's been notated that he has a ongoing problem, you know, um, recreational problem, you know, allegedly, allegedly, with drugs or whatever, allegedly. And therefore, it's been said allegedly that he's been on record as saying, he can't remember the lyrics to some of his, you know, hits because he has brain loss. What? That seems like a residual effect of recreational abuse. You know what I'm saying? Addict talk. I don't know. But he's supposedly, allegedly, you know what I'm saying, going through that situation. So why would they call, and have Wayne, and why would people get mad? Just like Hurricane was mad that 50 came over there and was buying property for like $10 or $15 for freaking an acre lot. I mean, look, if anybody's arguing about certain things that's going on in your city and it doesn't include you, I mean, you should ask yourself, why? Why isn't that shit including me? You know what I'm saying? Why am I not included? It's a change of the times, man. Shit continue to change. And just look at it this way. Who would have thought Kendrick Lamar coming out not like us would blow up the way it did and will land him as the main attraction at Super Bowl halftime in 2025? You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought that song would just pop off the way it did and show niggas? Who? Who would have thought? Come on, man. Who would have thought, man, that he would be out here whooping feet? Who knew that he would, put Crawford in his shit and it would even blow up even more? Who knew Kendrick would be out here whooping motherfucking feet, y'all? Who knew that he would go and goddamn dance on Drake's neck the way he did? No, they didn't know he was gonna stomp him out like that. Ain't no law, boy, you ball boy, fetch Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxers. What OVO for? The other vaginal option. Pussy. Oh my God. God damn. Oh my God. That shit gonna be bumping. I don't feel no type of way as to why, you know what I'm saying, these artists that's local wasn't selected. You gotta pop out and show niggas. Your analytics gotta have motherfucker looking and say that nigga. It has to be a lot of attention given. It just has to be interest for them to put you on at the Super Bowl and the reason for it. And Kendrick been popping, off this shit. So I can only imagine what the crowd, the energy is gonna be like. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm glad we don't have to see 50 hanging from the rafters. You know what I'm saying? Like he's about to have a goddamn stroke. I'm glad I don't have to see that. I hope to God we don't see all that freaking satanic message, that's up there and shit that we seen when Usher and no. Mm-mm. I ain't trying to see all the messages and those subliminal signs and all that. I just hope Kendrick go in there and rock the house. And that's that, man. I ain't trying to see all those subliminal, you know what I'm saying, underworld, anti-religion, all this other shit popping off. Man, I just want to clean. I saw too much of that shit in Paris, the Olympics. It's just too much force feeding going on, bro. I just want this performance to be hyped. I want it to be straight up, representing hip hop. It just seems like everything just orientated around shoving messages down people's throat. You know what I'm saying? On what they want you to be a part of. So that's my take on that. Salute to Kendrick, man. And Wayne, you're gonna have to wait, man. Like You have to understand. You can't just go up here and be a so-called recreational user and expect for that type of addiction not to affect you mentally, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? And your memory and all that. You can't think it's not gonna affect you, bro. It's gonna affect you one way or the other. And that's where you at with it. You know? That's where we at with it. I'm not real deep into hip hop like that. I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, Wayne ain't had a hit. He's one of the best rappers ever. He is. He's one of the top, in my opinion. He's one of the top five lyricists. Well, the fact that he can't remember don't take it away. But the shit, Wayne says, man, it's incredible. Maybe you can do a live for people like me one day who want to get into watching MMA and would like to understand the sport. Of course, man. I used to do a lot more MMA lives back in the day. But boxing is one of the hotter topics. I just spend my time watching MMA, learning it, because if you got a mainstream boxing subscriber and viewership, the fan base is pretty much boxing. Yeah, top five diss trackers all time, and the only one that plays on radio consistently, charting and everything. Yeah, man, he did his thing. Ain't gonna lie, he did his thing. But this would let me bring up Wayne's. Let me bring up Wayne's screenshot. Lil Wayne say he can't remember the lyrics to his own songs due to memory loss. The rapper opened has opened about his health struggles caused by epilepsy. Well, you know what I'm saying? I don't have much to say about that. I hope the man is able to, find a common denominator to get his health on track. Seriously, I really hope he's able to do that. But at the end of the day, um, I'm looking forward to this fight week. And for those of you that didn't see the undercard that I put up here the other day, I will show it to you once again. Here go the undercard. No, I'll take that back. That was the wrong undercard. There you go, right there. There go the undercard for this weekend. You got Eris Landy Lord, Danny Garcia. Man, you got some good fights on here. Caleb Plant, Trevor McCumbee, Stephen Fulton back in the building. Somebody's favorite fighter, Rolando Romero. You got Ramon Villa turning since his loss to Jerron Ennis. Jonathan Lopez, 16-0, undefeated. Lawrence King. You know what I'm saying? They got a pretty nice. And Vaughn Williams, 12-1. I haven't seen him in the ring in a minute, but I used to cover this cat in the regional card in South Carolina, man. Good to see you back in the ring, man. I know you done had some fights by then, from then, but 12-1. That's good to go. You've held it down pretty solid. But yeah, solid fight card, y'all. But I'm not gonna stay on here too long. I want to give a big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Continue to support the channel. You know what I'm saying? Prayers continue to go out to Haynes. Hope you recover. That you still progressing in your recovery, man. Because sometimes these, you know, I can give you story after story, but you know, um, I'll leave you with this. It's a cat that knew me when I initially came in. He helped me check in and everything. He was two ranks ahead, above me. Me and him became good friends. Went to a lot of clubs and had some great time. You know what I'm saying? When it came to you know the women we was involved with, the parties we attended, and all that. But later on in the career, the last time I went over his crib, I didn't see. I don't think he even know he was sick. But we was playing cards, tunk, and all that. You know, it was a pack house. Just having fun, man. At that time he was married. He ain't got married. So when I left, I went on deployment. Months passed by, and then hit his up, hit him up. Um, then getting them from his number. I said, dang, he's changed numbers. So I hit him up on the military. I hit him up on the military site, their web, their intranet. Didn't get nothing in return. So I'm like, damn. So somebody say, call his. I just got in contact with his wife. I think they answer the phone. They might not, call and leave a message. So I called and left a message. I said, hey, I said his name. I said, hey, what you been up to, man? I haven't heard from you in a minute, man. Just checking in, see how things going and all that. And then his wife, contacted me and said that, when the last time you spoke to him? I say, it's been like since that time we was over there playing Tonk and all that. And then she remembered who I was. He say, hey, so and so passed. And I was like, he passed? From what? I'm thinking car accident. I'm thinking combat. I'm thinking something. He had cancer, man. He came down with cancer, man. My boy passed away. Didn't even get a chance to tell him, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Didn't get a chance to, chop it up, have some laughs. Didn't know he was sick. Did not know the man was sick. I mean, nobody reached out to us or anything. So when you see people on here, that go through those situations, you say to yourself, okay, yeah, you can take it for granted, because a lot of people you meet on here, you never really break bread with them, but they can be gone the next day, or they can freaking, pull through, and you're thankful for that. So y'all keep Haynes' legacy in your prayers. You know what I'm saying? That he continue his recovery, because just because something goes away don't mean it stays away. You feel me? And everybody else in the chat, man, y'all definitely go over there and support these boxing channels, man. Support the Mac Mob, Tough Glove Boxing, our TBA Boxing Talk, and the Spit Bucket Podcast. Support them cats, man. You know what I'm saying? Show them love. Um, the News by Shaw News Sauce Experience, man. Shout out to my guy, Team Tucker. I don't know if y'all knew his dog got hit by a car. You know what I'm saying? We was pretty much seeing the dog grow up in front of us. So, they have a new one on deck. I knew how that can be. Families, especially kids, get attached to dogs. And, get attached to have two dogs and have a new addition to the family get hit and die. And then you have to go find a void, another one to fill the void. That's, family friendly. You feel me? So it's good to see them recovering from that. Who else did I might forget? Um, be sure you KQKC Boxing. You know what I'm saying? Check him out. Support these channels that I put out there. There's nothing wrong with putting out there say, hey, support these channels. It's not gonna take away your subscribers. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna take them away. Who else did I forget? Salute to them guys, TBV and Showbiz. One of the larger platforms is out there that's doing big things. Smoke Session, Sports and Entertainment, Pop growing his channel. You know what I'm saying? Go over there and support. You know what I'm saying? Show these brothers support. Um, who else is out there? But anyway, y'all hold it down. Continue to support. Shout out to D-Town Boxing. Shout out to the boxing queen Jessica in the building. I'm out. Peace.